Welcome to Rauta. This video is done in commercial collaboration with our sponsor, Steelfest. Atmospheric black metal hails from Finland. This time it's an album by Kalmankantaja. Very active solo project. Well, most parts of it with an album called Second Death. Now, Kalmankantaja has always been very active when it comes to releasing new music. That is multiple albums most years. And when I say solo project, I really mean that the main guy of the band is doing most of the stuff. But as you can see here, this one actually has three different members, which is kind of a curious because most of the time it's just Grim doing the music. Here he is mentioned as guitar bass, but this time there's also a Zaghal, vocalist Nargurath, and then we have a drummer also to accompany the whole thing here. So is this a new phase, new era for Kalmankantaja? Probably. And interestingly so, this is actually quite different from what you might be used to. It comes with a nice looking digipack format. I prefer digipacks over jewel cases, but I know there are different people who would say like, no, it has to be jewel case. Well, you're out of luck, at least for this review, in case you're looking for a jewel case, but each his own and all that stuff. Now let's start talking about the music and let's take a little bit of background check before we start describing the album. Now, Kalmankantaja has been there for like 12 years, and throughout those years, there are massive amount of albums. I mean, we're talking about roughly 30 albums by now, and on top of that, EPs, splits, and what have you. Now, especially the early years, it was super active with, like 4 albums in 2014, which is just too much. And to be honest, earlier on when the style was somewhat different, the albums were not that good. In my opinion, it's only the past few years when the band has really been, getting improved. And now once again, the pace has been improved. For example, year 2020, there were like four full albums as well. And on top of that boxed set and 2021 also 2 albums, 2022 2 albums, and now we are barely in March 2023 and already 2 albums out. So it seems like the pace is picking up, and I don't know if this is actually a good thing, but who I am to judge whatever the creator of the music is doing. I mean, once you have kind of a obsession, compulsion, whatever, possessed to do some riffs and songs, I guess then you have to just push the pedal and aim for the higher parts. Now there is two different parts, two different directions when I'm talking about this particular album. On the other hand, this might be one of the better ones, might have the best ones by Kalmankantaja. There's definitely something really good and interesting happening with this album being compared to Katatonia of Kalmankantaja albums. I'll get back to that in a second. And also one of the worst things to happen with this Kalmankantaja album, and this is something that I want to address first. Now usually, because Kalmankantaja is mostly being about more or less either depressive, suicidal black metal or atmospheric black metal, but it's black metal vocals that are, happening, obviously. But with this album, it's something weird. First of all, there are some effects. Maybe it's doubling the vocals, like multiple tracks, or because there are like raspier ones on top of clean ones. The vocals kind of suck on this album. I tried to get over them with multiple listens with this album. I could not. They bother me, and I think that's the major weak point on this album. If they had been done differently, like going purely for clean vocals or just staying with the raspy ones, or I don't know, even growly ones, they could have been good, but now it seems kind of like mess. Maybe the problem is just with me, I really don't know, but I do know it's gonna challenge some listeners because it's not what you're expecting. If you're expecting traditional Kalmankantaja thing, well, brace yourself. Now, for the good things. Well, when this was compared to Katatonia, I was like, what the hell? I mean, Katatonia is not actually near what Kalmankantaja has been doing. But we're talking about kind of early years of Katatonia, which again was more about kind of dark metal flirting with black metal and stuff. Think like Brave Murder Day or give or take before or after that, and then you're roughly having the idea what this Kalmankantaja era is all about. So there are plenty of good melancholic melodies where it's just kind of a sad, but in a good way because the songs are nice, the melodies are nice, and even though there's a lot of repetition, it actually works for the favor of the album. You kind of feel like, yes, this is definitely going to a better direction. So it's almost like abandoning a lot of old Kalmankantaja moments and now going for some new directions. But then those vocals kind of come in and, well, not ruining everything, but like I said, they bother me. But this is something that I think the band can actually work around. Maybe this is the new direction, and I kind of hope it to be. And the vocals can be better, can be fixed on later releases. But this is something that is going to probably, divide people into different directions. People who are expecting some kind of older Kalmankantaja might be even disappointed. People who are new to the band, they might actually like this more than the previous recordings. This might be something that the band is doing not purposefully, but in a way to get new fans. This might be actually getting the band new fans because the style is more, I guess, approachable than the previous ones. The production is pretty basic. There's nothing to praise about, nothing to bitch about. It just does its job fine. Whether we're talking about drums, guitars, bass, whatever, it is what it is. Just kind of a basic stuff which suits this kind of music. It's the vocals only I have problem with, but then again the melodies, the general songwriting is just like good. So definitely looking forward the band to go on from here and see what happens next. Definitely worth taking a shot and listening. You will find links provided in the description box. So start listening and what can I say? I hope you like it. It's a good one even if with tiny amount of problems. So looking forward to hear your comments about it. See ya.